Yo people, what's happening? This is Wresthings Extra. This is that part of the channel where sometimes we want to say a little bit but we can't say too much. And Alfie, let them know what time it is.
Uncut and uncensored. There's some things we can say and there's some things we can't say. Can't. But yeah, enjoy the video.
Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You guys know the slogan. By the Mandem, for the Mandem.
Bow.
Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Wresthings Extra. These are some things we can say and some things we what? Can't say. Lovely. First and foremost, guys, we've got a big special guest here, man. This guy's about to enter a cage on Sunday. That sounds mad. But yeah, he's about to enter a cage for the first time.
His opponent doesn't do much speaking, but he's here to talk.
Yeah.
He's here to talk. He's
real.
here to let us know what's going on and what's the vibe and how we got here.
Yep.
Yeah.
How we got here. We have Spike Trivet in the building. Make some fucking noise for Spike.
Thank you very much. That's very
He didn't come empty-handed.
He didn't.
Some of our guests come with food, but he come with belts.
Champ.
Not just one.
Not just
Champ,
one.
champ.
Two.
Champ. I love it.
I feel bad that they brought you food and I didn't bring anything.
But don't worry, we can eat the belts if you want us to. That level looks buff. I played. But yeah, man, it's an honour to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's really kind.
This is our second world champ, isn't it?
Yeah. Second world champ.
Champ
Yeah.
with Will and now we've got Progress world champ.
Yeah, crazy, man. But obviously, yeah, introduce yourself, let people know who you are, what you're about.
I am the Progress Men's World Champion. I am the Resurgence Champion.
You gotta go again. You gotta say that again, bro.
Yeah?
And some extra vim, bro. Like,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
I am the Resurgence Champion. I am the Progress Men's World Champion.
Yeah.
I ask you, do you remember me?
Yeah.
My name is Spike Trivet.
Trivet.
I will pick the bones
Yeah.
and I will claim your thrones. I am the Sovereign Lord, the Vulture, Spike Trivet, and I say again, do you remember me?
Yeah, I love it. I think that might be the best one we've had yet. I think that's the best one we've had yet.
We'll
man.
remember.
Honestly, we will remember. The champion is in the house. The champion's in the house, man. Yeah, start off, man. Start off with basics and stuff. Humble beginnings. How you got into it? Are you from London? First of all,
I'm not from London. I'm from Cambridge.
Oh, sick.
So I was raised in a little town called Ely, which is about 25 miles or something north of Cambridge, and it was just like it's a little town, and it was a little kind of normal town, medieval town, but it had a private school right in the middle of it, where none of the local kids went, and all the other kids came. They were all commuting in and exported and imported, and I was the only child that lived in the town that went to that school. So I was like, but I wasn't very popular in school, and I wasn't very popular outside school. So just because it was, imagine that you live in a town where like all the people. Imagine that you live in a town where all the local kids go to several local schools, right? And then or just the local school, and then a satellite of local schools in little villages, right? Imagine that you live in that town. And then there's a private school that has all the money, that has all the nice buildings that none of the kids go to. And then imagine walking around that town and into like the cathedral that we have and in the train station. And then imagine seeing that the only advertisements for any school are the ones for the private school that no one in the town goes to. You can imagine a place like that. And then most of the opportunities from like cool, just things like, music, drama, sport, all of that stuff just sort of went to the local King's School and stuff. And everybody hates posh kids anyway. So, I've literally traded off the fact that everybody hates posh kids. So yeah, I grew up there. Went to that school. And I just fell in love. I basically what I used to do was, when I was growing up, making friends doesn't really come easily to me. It didn't it certainly didn't at the time. I had to work on it. I'm 33 now, so I've been working on it for 20 years.
Yeah,
but making friends with people didn't come to me very easily. And so my tactic would be like, oh, you like that? Love it. You like yo-yos? fucking love me a yo-yo. You know, and that would be my tactic. Like, people would say I like something, and then I would be, oh, I like it too. And then it would sort of fade away. And then one time I went on holiday, and then this kid, who is still a friend of mine to this day, just put wrestling on the TV. And I was like, do you like wrestling? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I love it. I love it, man. There's nothing I love more than what's on that TV right now. And it just never went away. It was just the first thing that
You actually loved.
I actually, yeah. And then as time went by, I was like, oh, I actually do like this. And what it did for me was and it turned out, yeah, we're still friends now. And a few years ago, he was like, I didn't really like it. I don't really like it. It turned out he was just like, I was just being nice to you.
Yeah. Quick question. Have you ever admitted to anybody that there's things that you didn't actually love, that you didn't actually love it?
What do you mean?
So if someone showed you something that they liked and then you said you loved it, did you ever admit to them, oh yeah, I don't actually love it?
Probably not, no.
That's how I was with girls. I used to say, if girls said you liked something, I loved it. But as time went down, you know I was lying. I didn't like it. I just wanted to get your number.
Yeah, still do. I did that at home before I left, and I'll do it when I go home. No, probably not. Like, I just didn't know any better. But it just never went away. And the thing that it allowed me to do was it actually afforded me the ability to bond with people like yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, people would be like, I'd be like, I like wrestling. And someone would be like, I like wrestling. And I'd be like, really? Who's your favorite? Do you know what I mean? And it actually allowed me to make friends. Like, it was the easy. So it sort of opened my world socially, and it opened my world imaginatively. Like, it, in many ways, it just changed my life. So I actually owe a lot to loving wrestling. And in that sense, it changed my life. But I didn't get into it until I was 26 years old.
Crazy.
So I didn't get into it until very late.
You were trained by Eddie Dennis, right?
I was trained by Eddie Dennis. I originally trained at the Projo. I've had a few trainers. Some of them are now no longer in the industry, for better or for worse. Eddie Dennis plays a really big... Yeah, Eddie Dennis, I would say, is probably my main trainer. Mike Bird is another one who played a big part in my training. Tom Dawkins plays quite a large hand in my training. Yeah, and just anybody else. And me and TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo were 3 best friends, and we train each other as well when we had the chance. Yeah, but I think that I would say the biggest influence on my career has probably been Eddie Dennis. I would have thought. Yeah.
Sick. I feel like Eddie Dennis is like when it comes to respect and someone that's held in high regards. He's always been a person that's been mentioned. We know a lot of people that's in the industry, and they always mention Eddie Dennis as the guy that has really helped them out get to the place where they are.
Everyone speaks highly of him. I don't think I've ever heard a bad word about him.
Nah. He's just, you just need someone in your life that is like, that wasn't good. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need somebody who's just willing to tell you, like,
straight,
the harsh truth.
Yeah, just like, look, that wasn't good. What did you think of that match? Didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? But I love you, but I didn't think that was very good. But here's the reasons why I didn't think it was very good. But also the other thing as well is with him is that you'll ask him for advice, or you'll say, like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do this, and then he might be like, I don't think that's ever going to work. And then if you go out there and it works, you walk back through the curtain, he'll be like, I was wrong, I was so wrong, you got it right, and he was the first person I defended the Progress title against. Yeah. And that was a huge honour for me. Yeah, I did it in Wales, down the road from where he grew up, and it was a massive honour for me. And it was almost 5 years to the day that I had first wrestled him. Crazy. Which was a really different thing. And then afterwards, he hugged me, told me he loved me, and then he said to me, you are a master worker at this point. Wow. And I think that was like the biggest thing he could have said to you. Ever said, yeah.
That's a great accolade to have. Right?
Yeah, especially to somebody that you look up to so much and you run everything by, and it was a really emotional moment for me, actually. Yeah, I'm not surprised that everybody mentions him so highly, because he cares. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's told me recently, now that he's sadly retired, well, not sadly, he's gone on to some great stuff, but he told me that he went on an unofficial retirement tour.
Oh, so that's why he went Rev Progress.
Mm-hmm. And his tour was putting over all his old students.
Oh shit, yeah.
So his first one was he put me over for this one, then him and
Didn't he? Who did he have a match with Rev Pro? Had a match on at Rev Pro.
he had a match with Michael
Michael Oku, yes,
put him over. Had a match with Mills, put him over.
Mills, yeah.
Had a match with TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo in the ballroom with FSU, which is a match they won at Fraser's. Put them over.
Oh, that's great, man.
In fact, their finish is called, the Sunshine Machine's finish is called Captain Midnight's Revenge, which is like a Burning Hammer codebreaker move.
Mm-hmm.
But they finished it with TK giving him a shooting star. And that was because the first match he ever had in Progress, he lost to a shooting star from Mark Andrews, and then he ended his last match in Progress losing to a shooting star.
Easter eggs. Cinema. I love it, man.
Magic, that, isn't it?
That's crazy.
It's magic that you can write your own history in that way. Wrestling, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, wrestling's like, wrestling should, like, it's film at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's
Make
scripted,
movies.
the way things are done, and even going down to like what you and Cara Noir have been doing in the ring as well. Epic, bro. Like cinematic.
Thank you.
Like I recall you even wearing the face paint.
Yeah.
At one point,
Yes.
bro, talk me through the whole thing. That's crazy, man. Like
If you heard the Indie Takers review,
yeah.
I was because shouts to Curtis Bell. I don't know if he's hit you up, Curtis Bell. He's an American. He's our American supporter, our friend.
check your
who
email.
he's check
Check
your
your
email.
email,
Search
email,
Curtis
yes.
Bell. He's probably sent you an email. He's one that recommended the match for me because when we started the Indie Takers podcast, a few people said to us, "Oh, like, can you cover British Indies?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. We'll send us some matches." So he messaged me about that match. So I've seen you and Cara stuff with Bullet, Gene Money. What's this guy's name? All your title defenses, I've seen them.
Sure.
And he, like, Curtis is pretty much very big into British wrestling. So when you recommended me the match, I said, you know what, I'm gonna have to check it out. And like just the way you described it in terms of like you and Tom's like background in theatre as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff he said, I was just thinking, okay, I need to go research this because I definitely, like you said, Easter eggs. I want to watch this and understand the mindset of both of you when this match is being put together. And like we spoke off air, this match was fucked. This match is absolutely fucked. Just you coming out with the face paint.
Yeah.
And it was like, just seeing the transition of you guys more so like switching places.
Yeah.
It was like watching Goku and Vegeta for the first time.
Yeah.
It was, I don't, yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad that you guys have that reaction to it.
feel
It meant
like-
a lot to us.
One thing I've already said on podcasts many times. I feel like it's for me first when I'm watching a wrestling match, it's story.
Yeah, I agree.
Story, then the wrestling.
Yeah, I agree.
If the story is great, the wrestling will be great. If the story is not good, the wrestling can be good, but that still depends where you're watching it. If you're going to like a indie show somewhere, these lot will put on a barn burner and that's fine.
Regardless.
Totally.
But when it comes to big matches,
Yeah.
the story comes with that's what you've done.
Well, I think that's really funny that you say that because one thing I get a lot is one thing that I get a lot, and I don't care, but one thing that I get a lot is particularly for that match is people will review it and they will say from a story point of view it was a 5-star, but for an in-ring point of view it was 3.5 or something like that, which is I find that just absolutely bizarre.
Who's saying that? Dave Meltzer?
No, Dave Meltzer hasn't seen it, but
cool.
but people like that, I've heard that kind of review for several things, and I just find that really bizarre because I just think like you would never ever say about like a standalone match, like like just a banger, and I think that Match of the Night and banger, they're not what I do. They're two different things. Like actually, like if you're having the Match of the Night, it's a totally separate.
That's a different.
It's its
thing.
own entity now. Yeah. It's a bit of an in-joke. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's not a joke. If you can have the Match of the Night, more power to you. But Match of the Night is a different thing to what I do.
Yeah.
And that's not to say it's better or worse. It's just different. But you would never say about a Match of the Night that
from a match perspective, it's a good match, but from a story
From a story
perspective,
perspective, from a match perspective, it was 5-star. From a story perspective, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's no
No
story.
story, yeah.
You know, like you would never ever say that. So that is so. It warms my cold heart to hear you say that. I totally agree, and that's what I love to do. That's why I got into it. The first going back to the first wrestling match I ever saw was like, I think it was Test versus Pete Gas.
Pete Gas. What's best Pete?
Exactly.
Oh, Mean Street Posse.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it was what it was, but it was around the time when Test was like going out with Stephanie. And then Shane McMahon comes.
The corporate sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shane McMahon comes out and he's like, Test, you're a piece of crap. Like, you can't go out with my sister. You stay out of my family. And I was like, people solve their problems like this, you know. And that was what drew me in. Yeah. And even then, like, the villains always used to draw me in more. I would never love the villains. I hated them, but I just felt more. My feelings for them were so much more intense, you know. And so that's what we've tried to do. That's what we tried to do with this. So, so I'm really glad to hear you say that, because it makes me feel like what we did was worthwhile. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Makes me feel like what we did was worthwhile. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the storytelling, we didn't really go into it with originally the idea of like, I will pass the makeup to you.
Just even like the desperation from Tom, like wanting the like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I feel like I'm watching
the psychology. The
psychology of it is crazy. Like, you've come out and you're this, like, it's like the final boss, Spike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've come out, you're not like, Tom is hitting you. It's not affecting you. You're literally doing all of his moves. And at one point, Tom is like wiping the makeup off your face, and he's trying to rub it on his own face. Yeah. And you can kind of see him like like rebuilding.
Transfer the power.
Yeah. And it's like, as more face paint is coming off you, you're now reverting back to Spike. You're now reverting back to having to like cheating and Bullet. We need to speak about Bullet. That guy's a big guy.
Yeah.
That guy's a big massive.
Bullet is. We'll get to Bullet. Yeah.
And then Tom's missus coming in as well, getting involved. I don't care what.
Cinema.
That was a good match. Even if there was no story behind it, that match for me was a very good match.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Like, so I think that the way that I was an actor before. So when I was younger, I wanted to be a wrestler. Then my dad was like, "Why would you ever want to do that?" And he didn't realize he was crushing my dreams. He just wanted what was best for me. Do you know what I mean? So then I went into acting. Went to drama school, and I studied loads of things in drama. I went to a drama school called Drama Centre London, which is now sadly closed down. It's where it's where Tom Hardy went. It's where Michael Fassbender went, and some other really cool names to be really proud to be a part of that alumni. But one of the things that we would learn, particularly in improvisation classes, I don't know if you guys have ever done improvisation.
Yeah, I've done acting. Yeah, we used to do. I done for GCSE. So is that improvisation when you walk around and you got they say something and?
It's just like we make it up as we go along. Yeah. And the first rule of improvisation is yes and. So if you and me are having an improvisation, and then you say to me, let's go get in a plane and let's go to you say whatever, we'll go to Spain, and then I go no. Then it just cuts.
Oh, it does it.
It does it, and then we've got nowhere to go, and then you're left going, okay. Yeah. Whereas if you're like, let's go to the airport and go to Spain, and I'm like, yeah, and then and then we'll get some paella. Do you know what I mean? And then it can have chorizo in it, and then and arriba. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then it goes up and up and up. And with me and Tom, when we planned that match, that's just what it was, and that's how I always look at matches, and I had to look at it like I had an idea, and then he had an idea, and then I had an idea, and then he had an idea, and then we just built on it. And I just originally just started with, I want to come out wearing your makeup, mainly because I just want to do your entrance, because your entrance is
so cool.
Because your entrance is
one of the best in UK, I'll say.
He's cut this out, I guess, but he's my favourite wrestler ever.
So you cut this out, yeah?
No, it's fine. I tell him all the time, and I'm like, you're my favourite wrestler ever, and he's like, that's what. This is how he says hello.
I've never actually heard him speak. Actually, I have heard him speak.
You have probably.
You'll see him on
Speak,
like
yeah.
the promos and
Promos,
stuff.
yeah, I heard him
Wrestlers
speak.
do.
Sorry, I heard him speak.
But this is how he says hello.
That's funny.
That's it.
Thumbs up. Look, Orange
Yeah.
Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy.
All right. Yeah. But he'll hate me for saying that. But I think it was just like, I think if you'd have said like to most wrestlers, we want to do a match where like I'm wearing your makeup and then I pass it and then it passes to you and then you become him again and I'm me again. I think most wrestlers would probably be like, what? What's that about? But for some reason, when him and I get together, it just isn't really like that. I'm like, one of us will have an idea, and I would rather that the idea was so mental, and then we tried. But if we like it, we try everything we can to make it work.
To make it work, yeah.
Like, just what can we do to make it work? So he said at first it was like, I want to see if I can get some black makeup under some paint. Maybe we can do something where like you throw me under the rig and maybe
You come out in this.
and there's a thing of paint there. Maybe you throw something in my face. And I said, well, why don't I just have the makeup? And earlier in the feud, when I attacked him, I tried to rub the makeup onto my face because I was like, because we were doing the whole thing where he was beautiful and I was ugly. So I was like, am I beautiful now?
Yeah.
And then I just said, well, why don't you just take it off of me and put it back to you?
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, what if I just take your shoes off to embarrass you and start beating you up and then you hit me with a kick from your shoes, from your feet, and then you suddenly realize he's taken my shoes off. I can move again.
Yeah.
You know, and then it became even more like, and then he was like, yeah, and then I can move again and I can get up and run away. And I was like, don't run away. You have to sit there. You have to sit there like a child. And he was like, why? And I was like, because you're growing up again. And then you stand up and then you do a plie. And he's like, why would I do that? And I'm like, because you're a ballet dancer, so you do a plie and you're finding it again. And then you smile and then you beat the shit out of me. Yeah. And then, you know, and he's like, yeah, do you know what I mean? And it's just, I think it's unlimited imagination. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should always, I just think, you know, don't ever be limited by thinking that you can't, you know, like, there was a time when I thought I couldn't be a wrestler, and my imagination took me to a place that allowed me to fucking carry this belt and sell out the ballroom. Your imagination.
Make some fucking noise for selling out the ballroom, man.
That's big. That's big.
Not everyone can sell out the ballroom.
Yeah, well, thank you. But, like, it's my imagination. The imagination of my childhood took me to this. Your imagination can take you anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
Have you written a script before?
sorry,
Have you written film scripts before?
I wrote once in drama school, but no, not really.
I think you should start writing scripts, bro.
Oh, thanks very much.
Honestly.
Why'd you say that?
The way you're like, you're speaking when you're speaking to like the whole conversation I had with Cara Noir. That's like director speaking. The way like, you should have it like this and have the face come off like that. That's very. It's like a director speaking, and that's when you're speaking. I was like, okay, cool.
Thank you.
That's sick, man.
I love. I also love. I love training and directing and things like that. I did direct a bit when I was in school, but that's a really nice thing to
I think
say.
you
Thank
should.
you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, like he's, you know, like, and I think that's the thing is sometimes I think when you work with people, you know, they'll say things like this was something that was a lot in the industry. You can't do comedy in the back end. You can't do so like there's you
can't like, as in you can't make people laugh or you what?
You can't go to comedy in the back end because once you're into back end stuff, that's where we get to the moves. Stuff's too serious. You can't like that. And me and Tom are just like bullshit.
Yeah.
No way. You can go because it and all you got to do is just it's not comedy. It's just eccentricity. Do you know what I mean? Like the Joker says the fucking funniest shit all the way through the film.
Mm-hmm. But he's
he's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, Bill the Butcher's like my favourite villain ever from Gangs of New York. And all the way through that film, he is the most charismatic person. People look up to him. Women think he's sexy, but he's just evil, you know. And he says evil things as he's trying to kill you. Do you know what I mean? He says, you know, like you watch, you know, as he tries to kill people, he like makes he'll say funny things and make people laugh. You know, like anything's possible. You just have to want to go out there and do it. and you just have to be prepared for it to go wrong. And if it goes wrong, then you go, fine, it went wrong. But on that night, it just went well, and then Claire beat the shit out of me.
That was amazing to see.
Yeah.
She's amazing, isn't she? She's absolutely unreal.
That was crazy. Yeah, like I said to people, that's one of my favourite matches this year because
That's really kind. Thank you very much.
I'm gassed. I feel like I'm watching it again. Like I'm just gassed. Like, it's so
You're rewinding it in your head right now.
bro. I'm just like her moonsault spot. Bullet, Bullet is a big guy.
He is a big guy.
I want to interview him one day. He seems mad cool.
Yeah.
He's great. He's
Bring
really good.
Bring Bullet in.
Yeah.
What a gem he is. He's a real gem. He's a real find. I'm really happy that we found him. I think pound for pound, for my money, he's the best heavyweight in the country.
Yeah.
Definitely. He's a legit heavyweight. He's brilliant in the ring. He knows what he does. He's a good talker. He's charismatic. He's loyal. He's loyal and he's reliable and he's trustworthy. Like if there was a group, if I had to jump off a balcony, if I had to do a spot where I had to fall off a balcony, and there was a bunch of people to catch me, if Bullet was in that group, I would be fine because I would know. I was like, if Bullet's down there, I'm getting caught. He's catching me. So, yeah, you should get him in. He's absolutely fantastic. I literally can't put over Bullet enough. He's brilliant. He's really, really good.
He wrestled at is it TNT recently? The other match at TNT. Maybe
He's everywhere. Yeah. He's killing it.
Yeah, he's suddenly just gone everywhere, isn't he? Yeah.
No, he was at Sov. He's part of
Sov. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Sov. Yeah. That's what. I think he was representing Sov Pro at that TNT event.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's the first time I heard of it. Yeah. Tell us about your character and how it formed and what was the inspiration behind it.
So I was when I was at the Projo, which was it was the Projo.
Is that now Knuckle Locks, right?
It was Knuckle Locks. Knuckle Locks is now closed down. So I was at that, and I was doing a character seminar one night, taking one. I think RJ, you know RJ Singh.
Yeah.
RJ Singh.
Yeah.
He was taking it, I think. And they were making us do improvisations, and I didn't really know what to do for a character. I had an acting background, so I kind of knew I would be okay. I could just cut a promo as whatever. So I kind of knew I was going to be all right, but I didn't really know where I was going to go with it. And they put me up, and then we were doing improvisations, and they put me up there with this girl from Essex, and he just said, Cambridge versus Essex, go. Do whatever. So I just put on a really overly posh accent, and then we did a bit of back and forth. And she was really nervous, bless her, and she didn't really. So when I said something to her, like you should come to my manor and shoot my grouse. And she said, what's that? And I said, it's a bird. And she said, what's a bird? Because she was so nervous. She was like, what's a bird? And I was like, like a chicken. And she said, what's a chicken? And then I said in a really posh accent, and I was like, well, chicken, it's, they serve it at KFC. I'm sure your mother works there, or, just something in passing. And I just said it in passing, and then the whole room just blew up. Yeah. And then we finished it, and then I turned to the room, and I'd sort of have, when I was at drama school or in plays and stuff, you always know, like, you'll be rehearsing a play or something. Mm-hmm. And then it's not going right, and then one time the scene will settle, and then the room goes quiet, and then you turn to the room, and everyone in the room's going, and that was happening, and I was like, oh, I found something here. And then I think somebody just went, nobody's doing Posh Boy right now.
Take it.
So you just take it. So I took Posh Boy, and then I tried to my acting career really fucked me off, and it really pissed me off, and because it was all about acting's all about being in the right place at the right time, but you've got to have the right people behind you, and it's what does it even mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, well, you know what? I can make this the right place at the right time. Yeah. I can make this into what I want to be, and so I just ran with it, and at first he was kind of like a coked up banker. My first ever entrance music was Purple Lamborghini.
That's true.
And I came out and I had like he was originally sort of meant to be like a coked up banker, like
Like a Wolf of Wall Street type.
kind of, but more like the Bullingdon Club. Do you know the Bullingdon Club? Have you ever seen a film called Riot Club?
Right, club sounds familiar.
It's that club that like David Cameron and Boris Johnson.
Okay,
Oh, them lot, yeah.
The
yeah,
dining
yeah,
club,
yeah,
and they do,
yeah.
and they're a real club. Like
Fuck pigs and shit.
Yeah. Set fire to £50 notes in front of homeless people. You know, they
Soggy
do.
biscuit and that.
Well, yeah. Do all that stuff, and I had.
There's actually a film about that. Shit, I didn't even know.
Yeah, there was a play called Posh.
That right.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's
Okay,
it's
cool.
an absolutely.
Does it end?
marvellous
Does it end?
film.
Does it end well? Does it end bad?
Uh,
No, I just want to know if it ends like.
you will
This
be.
guy's
It
spoiler
will make
king,
you
man. Love
angry.
spoiler.
Cause I feel like I want to get Lord of the Flies type of film, innit?
It will make you mad.
I'll watch that tonight.
It's a great film. It is.
We'll talk-
It's a
we'll talk
beautiful. It's based on a play that was in the Royal Court years ago called Posh, and that was basically it. And then so there's a scene in that where they're fucking up this bar, and I just contacted James Musselwhite, who's a fantastic photographer and was really into wrestling, and I said, can we make a video? You'd probably be able to still find it, and I was like, can we just? I rented out a bar, a back room at a bar. And then he just filmed me just fucking it up, and then I released it, and then with their permission. But like I just fucked it up, and I broke one of his cameras, and like he just went. He just didn't care. Like he was just like, this is great. You know, he was really passionate.
Cinema.
Yeah. Shout out to James Musselwhite because
He's got James Musselwhite, man.
he's a
Make some
real,
of this James right, man.
he's a real artist. He's somebody you should probably have coming because he's got a really interesting perspective on it from another side. And we released this promo, and it went, you know, as viral as new wrestling viral can go, really. Like, you know, it wasn't all over the internet, but it did really well. And then from there, it just evolved, and then people started doing the Tory thing, which has been a bit of a blessing and a curse, because it's hard to walk away from. It's hard to get away from because, you know, people hate Tories, right? Like, so, and a lot of particularly in British indie wrestling, is the fan base is quite liberal. And so they just threw at me. I've never said that he was a Tory or not. I've never said any of my real political affiliations or my character's political affiliations.
They just associate it.
They just associated it, and then they would do things, and I thought, well, that was, you know, one guy was like, when somebody was said, oh, this was when Theresa May was in, he goes, oh, you should be called the King of Strong and Stable Style. So I made a T-shirt saying King of Strong and Stable Style, and it did really well.
I actually like the way that sounds, you know.
Yeah, it was funny, and thanks, it was really funny, and from there it just kind of evolved, and I went to different promotions and tried different things out. Riptide was a really big birthplace
I
of
miss
what.
Riptide, man.
Did you wait? Was he on the same card? Was he not on the card?
I'm not sure if he was on the card. It was the British. I think I can't remember who was on the card, but it was Riptide. I miss Riptide.
Yeah,
I miss Riptide, man.
So that was a really birth, and I've just sort of tried to evolve it ever since then. And now I'm kind of moving from the Sovereign Lord into this more sort of vulture character. You know, not like an actual vulture. But more into this, what that means and who he is and stuff like that. But again, it's about just an unlimited imagination. You know, like, not saying that's what I have, but it's just about like, just don't be limited in your imagination. Like, where can you go? Like, you know, you said that thing about writing a script. Like that, when I wrote that one script, it was in drama school, and we had a guy from, they brought a guy in from a director from EastEnders to come in, and he said, right, I want you to write. We all created our own characters, and he goes, right, I want you to create a script based on these characters, and what I want you to do is I want you to write a script that's got no budget, and then I want us to work backwards. So you write the thing.
Yeah.
So basically, like what me and Tom did was we planned a match for WrestleMania, and then we worked backwards. And we were like, okay, well, what can we make happen? What can, you know, just have unlimited. And so that's how I kind of look at this. It's just, I'll try anything out, see what happens, see if they garner any reaction, you know, nurture anything that I can get my hands on. because I just love the attention.
That's sick, man.
That's dope, mate. I know you recently defended your title against Danny Black in Germany. How was that?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. Germany's a wicked place. If you get, Oberhausen's great. WXW's great. Carrot is such a spectacle.
Yeah, I've been told.
Have you ever been there?
One of our good friends, Mark, he went Carrot with the last one.
Last year's one.
Last year's one, and he said it was absolute madness.
It is. It's sort of a world unto itself. It's sort of like wrestling takes over this little German town.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. I'd love to go back there and do more stuff there.
Maybe bring back some more golds.
Yeah.
Maybe bring back some more golds. get into a scrap with, someone, say Maggot or someone. Tell a narrative with him. Tell a tale. That's what I'd like to do if we could go over there. But that was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I would love to go back there, and you should all go there too. That's
on my wish list, man. Tell us more about this cage match that you've got coming up.
Yeah.
Progress's first ever cage match.
First ever cage match.
How you feeling about it?
I feel good. I feel confident about it.
Is it going to be colour?
You'll have to find out.
10, what Eric Richard say? 10 grams of steel. Binded, boy.
Their careers will never be the same.
I think I'm really excited. I'm extremely honoured to do that. There was, I've been wrestling for 8 years. In January it'll be my 8th year.
Crazy.
Which is not long. And there was a time when I was in a white crew shirt, standing at the side, watching people like Pete Dunne and Walter and all those people carry the belt and all that stuff, and the idea that I would be able just to even wrestle in that ring was so huge, and now, to be able to carry the belt that they held and be part of that legacy, but also like carve out my own legacy by having the first ever steel cage match in the ballroom, being able to sell the ballroom out for everybody is done so well, but the story has done so well in the cage and the spectacle of it, to sell the ballroom out, its first sellout since its return, and do it with just such a formidable opponent that I respect so much is, it's really surreal, but it's, these next few days is going to be the time of my life.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
And I think we're both going to come out different people.
For sure.
It's a career-changing match.
Yeah.
How you go in is not how you come back out.
Yeah. So, I'm counting on it.
Yeah.
I'm counting on it.
So that's how many sold-out shows you've done so far?
Sorry?
That's how many sold-out shows you've done so far?
Lost count.
Well, for Progress, it's the first sold-out one.
First ever in history?
No, is this your first?
Your first ever?
My first ever sold-out for Progress.
As in, have you done many sold-out shows for Progress, or is this your first ever?
So prior to the before the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic.
Yeah, prior to the
thank you.
That's it,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. So thank you. You saw me dancing around that. So prior to the pandemic, it was selling out. Then I managed to wrestle on. Did Wembley with them, but I was on the pre-show. Did a couple of other things, and I was on the pre-show. Managed to do Ali Pali, but I was still, fairly lower down. But Progress returned in March, had a sellout because it was returned.
Yeah, we went to that show.
And then we haven't had a sellout since.
That's crazy.
So, and that wasn't a full sellout. That was a COVID sellout. So this is so what the from what I've heard. And this podcast is being recorded after Eddie Kingston sadly was no longer able to join us because of his hernia. So respect to him. Hopefully he gets back and he can come back. But I spoke to Progress today, and the numbers that we have that are going to be on Sunday are at least a third, if not higher, than they've had in the last 15 months.
And Progress, man.
And everyone in the locker rooms worked so hard, but to be able to be the marquee in the marquee match on that and be a spectacle that's part of that, carrying that, working with Cara. Because there was a time where, if 2 years ago you'd have said that Spike Trivet was at the top of a Progress card, that was the first time that it was going to sell out after a really difficult few years, I don't think anybody would have believed you. And it's just amazing. And so I'm just trying to stop. I'm 33 years old, so I'm trying to stop and smell the roses. I'm trying to make sure that there was a point a few years ago where wrestling almost disappeared for personal reasons for me. And so I never thought I was going to be in this position, and I thought I was going to lose it all. And now all I want to do is just take it one day at its time and just be able to appreciate it while it's actually happening. Yeah. Because I'll have years to look back on it and be like, oh, I wished I loved it. I wished I had appreciated it more. So now I'm just trying to appreciate it as much as I can.
Yeah.
Big up for appreciation, man.
Because do you know what's going to happen? In the future, 10, 20 years down the line, when they do cage matches, they're going to always bring up your
vignette,
match.
yeah, the vignette.
Yeah,
you have the vignette
the
of
first cage match, they're always going to bring it up.
Like Undertaker and Shawn Michaels' Hell in a Cell,
Hell in a
right?
Cell,
Yeah.
Didn't Kane come at that match? Kane come at that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's got to be Kane! Yeah.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, any more questions?
Final question. What does the end of the year look like for you? What does the end of 2023 look like for you? Can we see you in Japan, in the States?
Well, I definitely think that there is an opportunity to go to the States. There is opportunities. There are conversations being had in a couple of places. So it's really just to foster those relationships and see where they go. And I'll do what's right for me. And I have a partner and a family that I love very much, so they have to be taken into consideration as well. So I'll do whatever is right for them, but also what's right for me. But I'm a bit of a funny one because I think I get asked this question a lot very recently since my career's done well, and a lot of the time people, like you can say to anybody else, where do you want to go? Like, I want to go to Japan. I want to do something. Mine is just, I just want to do this and be happy. That's all I want. I just want to do this and be happy. I just want to tell great stories. I just want to tell a tale. I want to entertain people. I want to use that to elevate other talent. I just want to leave a positive mark on everything I do and everyone I work with, and I think that's really all I want my legacy to be. By the end of the year, hopefully you'll see me in a platform where I can do that on a grander scale. But if not, then the year after. If not, then the year after. If not, then the year after, because my imagination is going to take me where I want to go.
100%.
I'm ready to go into that imagination, boy.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah. You're very welcome.
Ready for
you can come and sit at my table anytime you want.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. So this Sunday, when you're listening to the podcast, what day is it again?
23rd of April.
23rd of April, we're getting historic vibes.
The Vulture versus the Black Swan.
Yep. Yep. Spike Trivet.
Even just like the way it's been like promoted and this.
I just saw like a graphic of you guys and stuff. I don't know if it's family.
And I think your shadow was like the Vulture and then the Current Noir.
Yeah, they've released it. Oh, actually, one thing that I want to do on this podcast, and if you put anything out, it's one thing if you put out, I want to put a massive shout out to Jack and Al. You guys won't know who they are. Jack Hill and Al Ronald. They are the two of the creative powerhouses in Progress. They are
all the posters.
They are the ones who film they are the ones that film and edit and create all of those amazing hype packages. Great. The ones that Alexis Falcon and Nina Samuels are doing at the moment.
That story's been great.
Yeah. That's really good.
That's good.
Well, their videos, it's Jack and Al that are making those videos.
Sick.
And
make some noise for Jack and Al.
We got to get them on.
And if it wasn't for, and I wasn't for Jack and Al and James Amner as well, but if it wasn't for Jack and Al, the Vulture never would have flown. So just want to say, and I know, and they are two of the unsung heroes of Progress. So I just want to put a shout out to them because they've done more for me than I can ever imagine. Yeah. So I just want to put that out there.
That's it. We got to get them on.
They create the graphics as well.
They don't create the graphics. They've got the graphic designer, but they are part of creative, and they are the ones who make those amazing hype packages.
Okay, nice.
They make the hype packages, and they are the ones who facilitates that. They are I would say they are creative facilitators. What do you want to do? I want to do this. How can we make that work? Okay. Yes, and they are yes and guys. They're great, and one day you should definitely have them on because just to talk about their hype packages, man.
Let's do it, man.
They're the best. They're so good. Yeah.
Sick, man. Big up, man. Honestly, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Hopefully, we're trying to get tickets to the show. I know it's sold out and stuff. Trying to get tickets and stuff. So hopefully we do get the tickets and come and see us in the flesh. If not, we'll catch up VOD.
Might watch from the stands like Sting.
Yeah.
Stuff like this.
Yeah.
So we'll try and make sure we're there and that. But yo, guys, like, respect Trivet House, man.
Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at SpikeTrivet PW. You can't find me on Twitter because
I realised
I don't have Twitter now.
Yeah, that's good you don't have Twitter.
Yeah, because when we tweet the video,
Yeah, we can tag you.
looked for Car and Noir, couldn't find it.
Hashtag,
Yeah.
you have to use a hashtag.
Had to hashtag.
Yeah. There is an at Spike Trivet that was created by a wrestler called Damon Moser, who's a friend of mine, and it's called Posh Spaz. And it's a picture of me and him. If you go on it now, it's at Spike Trivet, and sometimes people tweet at it. And the thing is a couple of years ago when I had Twitter for my birthday, Damon Moser was going to give me that because it's at Spike Trivet, which is, I can't have it because he has that handle.
Basically holding it hostage.
It's holding it hostage, and for my birthday, he was going to give it back, but he forgot the fucking password, so he can't give it back to me. But
One job.
yeah, one job, yeah. So you can find me at Spike Trivet, PW on Instagram. You can't find me on Twitter because I think Twitter's bad for you.
Yeah. YouTube?
Sorry?
Are you on YouTube? I know you got something.
I'm not on YouTube. If you Google, if you want to do me a favor, you can YouTube my name, go on all the progress videos, and just give them all a like. That and watch them all. If you go on YouTube, you can find on Progress, you can find a group of videos that are called The Rise of the Vulture, and that will tell you the whole story of me and Tom if you want to catch up with it. It's about 2.5 years worth of content.
That's great.
But yeah, but apart from that, you can see me at a merch table, and you can see me terrorizing someone. You can see me terrorizing a favourite near you.
I love that.
Mate, it's a fucking nice for Spike Trivet.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. This has been Wresthings Extra. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Let us know who you want to get on next, if you want to see next. But yeah, it's about Trivet House. Peace.
Peace. You just got to the end of the podcast, and if you've enjoyed what you've listened to, enjoyed what you watched, enjoyed the vibes, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bow.